Thank you so much, sir. Your nuances, sharing of knowledge and the nuances of the trade will certainly take us forward, and the inputs are very, very valuable, and it is certainly going to help the young participants or the future industry leaders. So now, as a small token of appreciation from all of us, we request Mr. Christopher Raj to offer a memento to Mr. Sunil Krish. Mr. Sunil Krish is guest of honor. Mr. Christopher, Director NTTF, will be offering a small memento. Next, it is the turn of Mr. K. Venugopal to offer the memento to Sri Ravi Chidambar. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, I need to move and leave the dais to Mr. Christopher. He will be addressing the alumni. Sir, we welcome you onto the dais.
Yeah, this is not address. I just want to make a special mention. Like George was saying, when I met them, I can't remember, a few months ago when it was the annual day of our Urban Center, they had come to visit, and I just mentioned to them, it is our wish to have the 25th quality competition in a grand manner, so we can have industries participate and we also participate with alumni. And that's the last thing I said, and I don't know what they did. They quietly worked. And just 3 days ago, they just threw surprise after surprises. And I was telling you, they have done a brilliant job, great job. And I was just, we made a small little WhatsApp group, and I used to get updates, and I used to only say awesome, wow, that was all I was messaging, and they were giving me updates. So they did a brilliant job. I want all of you to stand. George, Suchindran, Samir is here, and all the other alumni. I can, yeah, Mr. Kasali is here. Vinod. I want to give them a big round of applause, please. Thank you. In fact, I told them that we want to do a little bit of felicitation with shawl and memento, and I said, rubbish, don't do all that. We just need a photograph with you all, that's all we need. So these guys are so down to earth and so gentle and so nice. You guys have done a marvelous job. Thank you very much. I just want to do this part. Thank you.
So I request all the dignitaries to take the seats in the front of the dais. Further, I request Christopher sir to carry on with the NTTF presentation. Let me will take it. Our volunteers, please assist. Please clear the tables.
Okay, so while they are setting up, good morning once again, and happy to know that so many members are here, and it is really encouraging for us to that we are the continuous path. There are a few things I will show you what we are doing in the future as well. So my presentation is nothing formal. I just want to show what NTTF is doing now and what it's stepped into. And after that we move on to the competition quite straight away. And amongst us we have Mr. Shroff. from our Gurbad Center. He's the Managing Director of Technocraft. Welcome him, sir. Yeah, NTTF. Close to 60 years now, and we run about over 40 programs. You know, what we have is a core program of diploma and post-diploma and things like that, but there are many other programs. We have inserted a complete prospectus in your folder, so you can take a look at leisure. And then we have a pan-India presence, 60 locations. When I say 60 locations, we have 50 locations, 15 locations of our own centers. Balances, we have many of the other programs that we do, you know, with industries, like we work inside the industry, like Maruti, we run a lot of training programs. And then, of course, we have 800 plus strong trainers. That's a big number, 800 plus strong trainers in NTTF. NTTF trained, bred, and committed. That's where we are. And like I said, our core centers are all across the country, you see, except not much in the northern portion. So starting from Bangalore, we have in Dharwad, in Karnataka, Belgaum. In Kerala, we have Tellicherry, Malappuram. In Andhra Pradesh, we have in Gannavaram. Tamil Nadu, we have Vellore, Coimbatore, Tuticorin, Kumbakonam. And of course, Jamshedpur, we have, and then we have one in Orissa, Gopalpur. And of course, we have one in Mumbai area, Mumbai. So you can see that the long-term core programs are what we have initially known for, and we have 50,000 plus students graduated and placed, right? Most of them working, and many of them are big entrepreneurs like you see in Pune. And of course, corporate training is our big forte. We deliver technical skills, functional skills, and behavioral skills. Then we have the Learn and Earn program, which is run under the NEEM, which is again, there's a detail in the prospectus you can see. And then of course, we do a lot of skill development, short-term programs, skill development, which is required, driven by the government as well. So these are the 4 big verticals we have. I only talk about our core program. So here you can see that we started, we started with diploma in tool and die making, but didn't stop there. When the electronics started, actually electronics should be number 2. We moved into electronics in 1980s, I would say, towards 1990s. And then we moved into mechatronics, because electronics alone was not enough. We just combined both, and then we moved there. And then we brought in computer engineering, because once the mechatronics was there, people had to work on the embedded technology. So the programming was taught. And then now the information technology, because they have to manage the entire show. And then of course manufacturing technology, some specialization, and electrical electronics, the power electricals is required. So these are the broad spectrum of diplomas that we do. Of course we have many other post-diploma programs, and then also we have tied up with some institutions, engineering colleges or universities, I would say. One in Bangalore with Dayanand Sagar, another one in Vellore with Vellore Institute of Technology, where our students can do a concurrent program and also secure a degree by the time they finish the 3-year diploma. So these are all the programs, many of them. Sometimes I find it difficult to remember. Now, what's NTTF special about? You can see, first thing is, unlike other colleges, our guys start working from 8 in the morning till 5. Other colleges start at 9 and they wind up by like 2 or 3. But these young fellows work from 8 till 5. And that's the big thing. And when they start, usually they come from a very basic, raw children. And that's how they start. But that's the recognition that India has done. We started with a rope-in program where they were woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning to start yoga. So it's very difficult from comfort of home to this, but we pushed them through that. The first week on 10 days is that. And the thing is, during that time I'm sorry, I'm not able to have this very well. You can see, we start with this rope-in program where the human relationship was taught because they come from an assorted background, Like when I was studying, I had a person from a rural place and one from Mumbai, my roommates. But by the time we finished that 10 days, we knew how to really gel well and focus on what we have to do. And then the attitudinal change and the value system is taught and mannerisms. And as you go along, the communication, team building, the presentation, you will see how they fly on the presentation. They can do better than me, right? And the goal setting and self-motivation. And we even start with 5 years right at the first week itself. So this is what we prepare them. And once they do that, they go into the curriculum. So the syllabus is like KV sir was saying, it is set by academic council and industry people. I mean, they govern it. We set it, they govern it. So recently we have been making changes. What we have done is we have taken the job profiles needed in the market and the QP set by NST of government, and then we work backwards to see what are the skills that should go in, and that's how we have written the syllabus right up to English. When they start learning English and maths and science. So we work backwards that way. So that's what we've been doing. And of course, we have expert facilities, faculty we bring in from the industry when we don't have the required people inside. Continuous focus on the behavior. The biggest complaint these youngsters have is too much discipline in natives, right? Yeah. Then we focus 60% of our time on practicals, is 30 to 40% on theory. So they are always hands-on. You can see the way they think and they do things in the display we have kept outside on the Creativity Olympiad. And then a lot of project-based and discovery learning happens. And they also work late hours to get into the idea of working in shifts. And then we use all the latest technology. We use video conferencing, and we have started using smart boards now. And every student has got a tab. All the lesson is in the tab. And at the end of each class, they also have a tab test, so the teacher knows what he has taught. And then there is, and of course the quality circle we are talking about, 5S safety at work. All these things are one by one. It is continuously put into them. So the end result is, when you see, they come out with that attitude and values, and they are mindful, skilled, competent, trusted, and really job ready. So that's what NTTF is kind of the butterfly effect, from a what do you call that? Cocoon to a beautiful colored butterfly. That's the transformation that happens in NTTF. I'll just run a small video which gives you a full idea of what's happening inside NTTF. Can you guys play that? And of course, proudly I can tell you, 95% placed. And that 5% is they decide not to get placed. They want to do their own thing, stuff like that. So this year our record is we are already at about 70% placed. 75% placed. Who are yet to graduate in June, but they are already placed. 75%.
State and Navy awards do not work with the name of peace. But when it is navigated in the awards, the value added of the state makes it one of the 200 rupees of the player. The NTTF is doing a great service in this time. Number one, it trains people. Not only that, it trains people in the sophisticated ways. It also provides the incentive for the man to go to the areas where the value added is very much higher. And as a consequence, he gets a better remuneration for the work.
Skilled manpower is the backbone of industry and the foundation of a nation. Hiring an employable workforce is the challenge of most industries today. NTTF, with its quality and high standard of education, has been able to address this need and also provide corporate houses with training programs to reskill their existing employees. Apart from gaining skills, students who join NTTF grow in confidence to face the future. NTTF has played a significant role in the transformation of its students and the welfare of their families.
We are not students, we are trainees. Within these 3 years, they are giving us the training to how to behave in a company. If we are getting a job, how to do each and every job. They are making us capable to work in a company as a team, as an individual and everything.
No, as a student, he is totally in darkness. There is a talent in him. We open it.
When you are in SSLC or when you before training started, we were just like a mud. NTTF has molded us. What I am today is just because of NTTF.
The passion in us, the focus, the endurance, the commitment and the leadership. You feel bad to fail a commitment that was put in us. These are the 5 things that the NTTF puts you, and that's the edge, and which is not available in any institute.
So thereby he slowly realizes his responsibility, how he should behave himself in the public life and share both the problems and achievement. So it becomes mutual trust between the teacher, between the industry, between the students.
The faculty is very approachable in NTTF. I mean, they are very open to hearing out what issues we have even in the course itself. They take a lot of feedback, and that way I feel it is very good.
I am basically from a village background, and NTTF played a significant role in shaping up me as a person. We came out very confident. So some of the things I recall, 3D as I was saying, discipline, determination and dedication. This is what we learned from NTTF, and it has become a part of our personality and helped all along our career.
NTTF today has a pan-India presence with around 30 training centers, including corporate partner centers. It uses a proven methodology gained over 5 decades of its existence.
We have got a communication with the industry where we place our students, and we ask them as a questionnaire, what is that new you expect from them, both technical as well as from the attitudinal and soft skill part of it. So they tell us, says this software is outdated, you must have new software, and this machining process what you are doing not needed now, it should be our CNC or automation of this nature. So such information we get it, naturally we have simulated ourselves, and then it is created by us, and finally have got a vetting from the academic also. And this updating is going on every year.
The boys who came out of NTTF, they could be employed directly into the industry. There was no further training required.
It was a very good experience, placements here, because we were, even before the placement started, we were tuned to facing placements. We had a course as to how to approach different interviews, different companies, and how to prepare for a specific company, the kind of talent we should have.
The work ethic that we got from NTTF has been very useful in our work life, and we saw it right from the beginning from our very first job. And so my boss, as soon after we joined, my boss wanted us to recruit freshmen from passing out of NTTF after that. So at Measurements and Controls, we did go back to NTTF to recruit our juniors to come and join us and work with us. And the results were good.
எனக்குள்ள இந்த டாலண்ட் எல்லாம் எக்ஸிபிட் பண்றதுக்கு நல்ல ஒரு சான்ஸ் கிடைச்சது. சோ இப்போ நான் as a team leader வர்க் பண்றேன். என்னாலே நம்ப முடியல நான் டீம் லீடரா இருக்கேன். I'm able to control 45 members in my line.
We eventually started doing projects, and we went to tech fests at IIT, and we won there. That was in my second semester. So diploma students going to IIT and meeting a couple of IITs, that was a different experience for us.
You can find a lot of unemployed or wrongly employed engineering graduates who are doing a lot of other jobs like HR, insurance and things like that. Whereas you cannot find an NTTF graduate doing nothing other than what he has studied, because he is highly sought after. You get multiple choices when you are above before to start your career?
NTTF offers various programs at the postgraduate degree, postgraduate diploma, post-diploma, diploma and certificate levels, apart from various non-formal or skill development programs. All programs offered by NTTF are employment-oriented and industry-focused. This way, NTTF has enhanced the technological skill base of the nation.
I don't think any one institution could possibly cope up with the demand of a country like India. NTTF has is that it gives a level of training that nobody else is giving. And therefore the demands for its training are great.
We used to work in a machine. It was very nice to work in a machine. And you can come to our different machines and different offices. At the end of the day, you have the cultural programs like dancing, singing, the training who has joined NTTF. You can show his regional talent.
The main thing of NTTF is that secure your own future with your own hands. I am proud to be an NTTF.
NTTF contributing to the nation's growth since 1963.
Thank you. I hope you got an idea of what NTTF is doing now. So, staying ahead of times, we have to do that. So, we have started three new things. One is IT reskilling, and second thing is additive manufacturing, and third is lifelong learning. So, we want our staff and students to learn beyond what they are learning. So, that's how we have this lifelong learning. And if you see this is the IT reskilling, and also we have these courses embedded in our courses as well. For example, if you look at embedded C and IoT, we have 3D printing is already part of the syllabus for our students now, and we have the Cisco certification for cyber security, and we have the cloud machine learning. All this is part of our curriculum for regular diploma in computers and information technology, and also for IT reskilling. That is for college fresher, working professional who would like to come and take this extra class in the evenings or the weekends. We offer this now. So if you look at, we are not just doing from within us these courses. We have actually, for example, for networking, we are the Cisco Academy, NTTF Cisco Academy with Cisco. That's a big thing that we have got now. Probably one of the largest for Cisco themselves. And for cloud, we have tied up with the AWS. So as you finish training, you can also get AWS certification. And for automation, we have tied up with Siemens. For IoT, we are tied up with Intel. And for RPA, we are tied up with UiPath. So you can see all the top global corporations we have tied up with. So parallelly, people can get certifications. Our students have already started there. And of course, I'll talk about 3D printing. We have tied up with Stratasys. So as you know, the manufacturing changing fast from industrial revolution to now it is going to the next industrial revolution, which is IoT and Industry 4 and 3D printing. That's what it's headed towards. So how we are preparing ourselves? So we're wondering what next. As you know, NTTF is very good in subtractive manufacturing. That is, we teach the best of CNC and precision. And we are very good in formative manufacturing through tool and die making. We teach what is stamping and then what is molding. And then what next? Obviously it was additive manufacturing, that's what we were thinking. And then all this comes very, very naturally to NTTF, because NTTF is one place where we understand GD and T, can interpret and apply it. That's the specialty of NTTF. In all these three technology as it moves, that's one thing in common as you see it. So we tied up with the Stratasys, which is one of the leading manufacturers, designers of 3D printing technology. They are located in the US. So they have tied up with us. We have built up a center of excellence where they have placed their application engineer and business development engineer for 3 years who work with our team, and we develop this center of excellence. So the vision is provide solution to have the shortest mean time between releasing an idea to a product solution. And next is offer training in emerging manufacturing technology. This is the vision of this COE. So I think I've lost some material in that. So keeping that in mind, we have started the additive manufacturing center of excellence. So what we have done is, in the center what you see is the center of excellence in NTTF Electronics Center, and then we have, that is a hub, and then we have the spoke. So that is in all our centers. We have at least in 6 centers we have already placed the 3D printing machine, so training has started. And again, I repeat, GD&T interpretation and application is what is coming in handy to us. We already have some very nice interest shown. We had a customer meet. We have very good interest from the customers. We are working on some projects with Maruti now, with Volvo. So already started. And of course, naturally, we would move to metal 3D printing as it matures. So what we offer here, training NTTF students to be future ready. So all our diploma tool and die makers and mechatronics students will go through this course as a structured syllabus developed by Sri Strategies in NTTF. Upskilling of industry engineers in additive manufacturing. So industry sponsors like GE would like to send 20 of their engineers and designers. And then consulting and design for additive manufacturing and solution services. This is the big need in the country now we see, because they don't have a full-fledged centralized place. So right from bringing in the CAD to giving out a solution, or bringing in a product to reverse engineer and give it out. So that's something that we are working on. Not working, we already have it. And then of course, we are open to all the university students, engineers who would like to come and do internship in 3D technology, IoT or Industry 4. So we want to give all the services from this Center of Excellence. Just to give a snapshot, that's what we have. You can see that this machine at the bottom left-hand corner there, that machine is a FDM technology machine, which is one of the biggest available in the country, which can print a 900 mm size piece. And it can print ultimate material, plastic ultimate, which is ultimate in terms of plastic quality. And this is a smaller machine, and we can see some examples. If you go outside, you can see I have displayed some parts. And this is the polyjet technology for show and tell samples depicting the real color you can print. You can see the car parts there, the tail lamps. You can really make the actual one. You can't differentiate the original or a molded part from a 3D. So that's the next part. And we have trainers, about 20 plus trainers were trained and certified by the Strategies US people. So they all are certified. They have to score 70 marks to certify this. And we also offer the training to students with the same kind of certification. There's a long list of things, but I have put in the catalog of 3D printing, so it has got all the details. You can take a look and ask any questions if you may have during lunch break. Most important, again, interpretation of GD&T. That's to get the right fit form and function. This is also additional we'll be teaching to these people who come there. And of course, they will also get a Strategies certification. So, in the end, with close to 60 years of technical training expertise, NTTF stays ahead, embracing needs of the industry and emerging skills, and continues to relentlessly train people, employable youth. That's what is the summary of what I wanted to say. So before I close, I want to thank you all and thank our guests for being here. And I would like to request and encourage you all to stay and encourage these young participants. Through the day they will have the competition, and in the evening we will have the closing ceremony. And to these participations, bright eyes, bushy tail, go and do your best. All the best to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for detailing the final prints and the new initiatives by NTTF. So, sir, we are calling you once again to to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Shroff here, who amongst this busy time is here to spend time with us. Thank you, sir.
So nice of you, sir. Really privileged. Thank you very much.
So, we do not know how to call it curtains down or curtains up. One session got over and now it's playtime. So we go with the presentation of team number 1. I hope you guys are all ready. Once again, I wish you the best. Okay? Team number 1, you can come over to the stage.
Dear judges, distinguished guests, and friends, good morning. We welcome you all to the case study presentation of all circle.
It's not heard.
Hello? 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 Hello?
We'll start from the
Okay. Dear judges, distinguished guests, and fellow trainers, good morning. We welcome you to the case study presentation of our quality control circle.
A wonderful occasion, our former Indian President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, delivered a speech. From that, these words are unique.
We should not give up and we should not allow the problem to defeat us.
This is our inspiration.
We.
Enigma. What is enigma?
The word enigma is derived from Greek language, which means mysterious and mistaken.
Our team, hello, myself KPML, and the leader of this team.
Namaskaram, myself Vishnuvi, I am the deputy leader of this team.
Namaste, myself Avnish Jain, I am the spokesperson of the day.
Vanakkam, myself Dhanakshna, and the record keeper of the team.
This is our team logo.
Our logo is an eye, which always looks solution for the problem. Our campus.
Network Technical Training Foundation, Delhi, is the very first institution established by NTTF in 1959. NTTF has expanded over years and has 17 centers located across India.
Our inspiration, the backbone of NTTF Delhi, beloved principal, Reverend Colonel Kevin I.
Our vice principal, Mr. Roshan Peter and Mr. Jadivia.
Our coordinator, Mr. Shijin Dev.
Our facilitator, Mr. Prasha.
These are the persons who motivated us.
What is QC?
QC stands for Quality Circle. A quality circle is a group of workers who do the same or similar work, who meet regularly to identify, analyze, and to solve the work-related problem.
The great inspiration, Dr. Gaurav Ishikawa, also known as father of QC.
Our motto,
the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Our vision,
be a premier institution in technical training and education to create the most sought after trainees through customer-focused programs catering to the needs of society.
Our mission,
technology education for global competence.
QC statistics.
Our journey was started on 4th February 2019. We held 20 meetings with 7% of attendance. We have successfully completed one project that we have planned. We conducted meeting an hour each day.
Dr. Edward Deming introduced Deming Wheel for approach problem solving. There are 4 steps.
Plan,
do,
check, act.
These are the methodology used for solving problem adopted by QCF5.
Identify the problem, selection of the problem, define the problem.
Analyze the problem, identify the causes, find out the root causes.
Data analyze, develop solution, find out probable results and outcome.
Trial run, regular implementation, review and feedback.
This is the culture chart, which shows the planning status of our QC presentation.
Step 1.
Identify problem.
For finding the problem, we use brainstorming method.
What is brainstorming?
Brainstorming is a group technique for generating new and useful ideas.
Types are
revealing method, sleep method, round out method, and so on. Here we are using the round-robin method under brainstorming.
These are all the problems that we have identified in our campus.
Delay of incidents in robots lab.
Robots are damaged.
Proper timetable.
Contamination of water in the campus and so on.
Thus, we categorize the problems into
A,
B,
C,
And AK. A category problem means
problems that are self-solved by our QC.
B category problem means
problems that can be solved with the help of other departments.
C category problem means
the problem that can be solved by the management.
And AK category problem means
the problem that can be solved instantly.
A category problems are
Delay of incidents in robots lab.
Wastage of paper,
Russian candy,
waste of water and so on. B category problems are
Improper maintenance of CRM.
malfunctioning PCC labs,
proper Wi-Fi connection,
improper timetable and so on. C category problems are
Lack of equipment and components.
no proper shaded parking area,
no proper first aid room,
no proper auditorium and so on. These are the AK category problems that we have solved instead.
Chairs are not numbered properly before and after.
waste bins are not labeled properly before and after.
awareness boards are not kept properly before and after.
Indication boards are not arranged properly before and after.
This bar graph shows the problems under the categories of A, B, C and AK. We found 56 problems in our campus.
For rank the problem, we use decision method with the help of 5-point scale and the criteria of
Safety,
Time,
Cost,
quality
and performance.
we rank and shortlisted the main 5 problems that we are facing in our campus are
delay of incidents in robots lab
continuous breakage of things,
burning of ICs in lab,
No pedals in pressure gauges.
and continuous breakage of building cutter. Step 2.
Selection of the problem.
for selecting the problem. We conducted an occurrence study from 16th of July 2018 till 23rd of 2018.
By using this collected data, we have made consolidated occurrence chart.
As the parameters occur in the consolidated occurrence chart, we made scalar diagram.
By using this diagram, we identified the main problems facing our campuses.
Delay of experiments in robotics lab.
This is the control chart which shows the occurrence of machine errors in robotics lab.
This is the approval letter for selecting the problem. Step 3.
Defining the problem.
How our experiments are conducted in our robots lab.
There are 17 experiments conducted in our robotics lab. In each experiment, robot should be moved in different pattern. We are saying reference point to the robot as the base.
In this video, we can see that the world's strongest six-axis robot, which is capable of handling the payload up to 1350 kg. One of the main applications of robot is handling load according to the load which is assigned.
In this video, we are able to see that the robot is handling the load which is more than its load capability. And another thing is that most of the robots work with the help of servo system to make the movements of the arm by using the pneumatics. And as we can see here, these heavy loads can cause the servo damage. These are specifications of the robot that is present in the robotics lab.
For define the problem, we use flowchart.
Start.
Perform 5 years.
Searching in for the stop.
Writing the program.
Providing sublet the manipulator.
Taking the reference point.
Reading the data.
If it is not okay.
Checking the manipulator.
If it is not okay.
Stop.
If it is okay.
Again taking the reference point.
Reading the data.
If it is okay.
Checking the output.
Rearrangement and 5 years.
Stop.
This is the pie chart which shows the lab allocation procedures.
In this video, you can see the regular output, which means the normal working condition of the robot manipulator.
Now let us look at a video where our instructor explains the problem, which says that
For conducting our lab experiments, we are using robot LRB 200 IC. For every experiment, we have to teach the robot about the data by moving the arm of the robot to the base.
if this process is not done properly, the robot may collide to the base and can cause servo damage.
This is the problem which is occurring in our robotics lab. When the robot hit the dash jump, the force will gradually increases more than the payload of robot.
Step 4.
Analysis of the problem.
For analyzing the problem, we use portability and modest method. What is the problem?
Delay of experiments in robotics lab
Where is the problem?
In our robotics lab,
When the problem occurs.
While taking the reference point,
Why this problem?
due to handling of payload,
How the problem occurs.
due to lack of knowledge about payload of robot,
Effects of the problem.
replacement cost is expensive.
overtime needed to complete the experiment.
exams are not completed.
And accidents are not completed on time.
These are the project goals for the QC project.
To save time.
To reduce overtime work,
To complete syllabus on time,
To our repair,
And to save money. Step 5.
identify the causes.
these are the causes we have found in our comparison.
Due to unknown load of the robot.
non-working of manipulator,
Damaging of servo motors,
Improper use of each pennant and so on.
Here we use Ishikawa diagram for finding cause and effect of the problem.
Ishikawa diagram is also known as wishbone diagram or cause and effect diagram, which is used to categorize the cause and effects of the problem that we are facing.
Dr. Kara Ishikawa introduced Ishikawa diagram.
Cause and effect diagram consists of 4 acts. They are
Man,
Material,
Method,
and machines.
lack of skills, lack of confidence are some of the main causes due to man.
damaging of servo servo motors and damaging motor is dependent are the main cause due to material.
Wrong procedure and improper program are some of the main causes due to methods.
Improper working of payload sensor, non-working of manipulator are the main causes due to machines.
By combining all, this is our completed cause and effect diagram.
For selection of the valid causes, we use the matrix method.
It is green indicating yes, it is effective.
And the red indicating no, it is not effective.
And the selected valid causes are
Due to unknown load of the robot,
Not working of manipulator,
Damaging of servo motors.
improper use of teach pendant,
and improper working of payload sensor. Step 6.
finding out the root cause.
For finding out the root cause, we use Y analysis method.
Improper use of teach pendant, unknowing of the field, unawareness of students.
Damaging of servo motors. Collision. Improper usage of manipulator.
due to unknown load of robot, unawareness of payload, no device to measure the load, don't due to collision.
Not working of manipulator, collision, improper teaching, carelessness of students.
Improper working of payload sensor. Collision. Inactivation of payload sensor. Overcurrent.
By using these root causes, we made this tree diagram.
And the root causes came out after pre-diagram are
Load due to collision,
Carelessness of students,
Proper usage of teach pendant.
overcurrent.
and the unawareness of student. Step 7.
Data analysis.
For data collection, we have conducted an open survey.
by using this cumulative calculation, we made this pattern analysis table.
By using this pattern analysis table, we found the main vital few of our problem are
Load due to collision,
Carelessness of students.
Improper usage of teach pendant.
After vital few, we conclude that load due to collision can be the integral root cause of our problems.
Step 8.
develop the solution.
For developing solution, we use round robin method and feedback method.
We approached a multinational company, namely Gulf Footwears, located at UAE, and asked if they are facing a similar problem. And this is the feedback we received from the company, which says that every robot has a payload sensor, which will act as an emergency stop. It works according to the voltage and current, which is passing through the servo motor. The sensor will act as an emergency stop only after taking more weight than the payload. As this event occurs repeatedly, the servo will get damaged.
And the solution came out after brainstorming our
To make automatic emergency stop,
Purchase new servo motors from outside.
Replacing servo motor from existing industry. To make automatic emergency stop, effects are
easy to operate, fully automated, more safe, portable, repair less power, and low cost.
to purchase servo motor from outside. Effects are
High cost. The price of servo motor is approximately 31,884 rupees. It requires 6 servo motors, so the total will be 1,91,304 rupees. And also, it is not easily available and an expert to fix the servo motors.
replacing servo motor from existing industry. Effects are
high cost. Replacement charge for an expert is 30,000 rupees. Charge of servo motors plus replacement charge will be 2,21,304 rupees.
and for selecting the valid solution, we use effective matrix method.
And the solution came out after effective matrix method is
To make automatic emergency stop,
In this animation, we can see that how the automatic emergency stop working in robot manipulator.
This is the application for fabrication. Step 9.
Find out probable resistance and overcome. Our automatic emergency stop has some foreseen problem with solution. Foreseen problem number 1
lack of awareness of failures,
and solution.
To teach trainees about working of automatic emergency stop.
Foreseen problem number 2
fear of trainers,
and solution.
to make aware that there is less effect due to damaging of components.
Foreseen problem number 3
mishandling,
and solution.
to fix indication board,
Step 10.
trial run.
This is the trial implementation letter for implementing our project.
This is the development table, which shows the initial design as sum of defects. In this we are using limit switch as a sensor, which has more than 125 of the RPN value, which is not acceptable. The RPN value is the multiplication of severity, detectance, and occurrence. Now, initial design, we have used limit switch as a sensor. When the robot hits the limit switch, there is a chance of causing damage. So, we have improved our design by introducing green switch as a sensor.
This is the improved development table in which we have reduced the RPM value of the sensor to 60, which is acceptable.
These are the components used for making automatic emergency stop.
This is the cost estimated table.
We just estimated that only rupees 298 can be used for making our automatic emergency stop, and it's very easy to use.
In this video, we can see that how the automatic emergency stop working in robot manipulator. Here we are using read switch as a sensor. When the robot hit the base, that time sensor will send the load. If it reaches the payload of robot, that time the sensor will automatically break the working of robot manipulator. Here we are using an LED to show the output. For implementing our project in robot, we connected serially to the emergency stop.
This is the status which shows the before and after implementation of our automatic emergency stop in our robotics lab.
Descriptions are time for doing one experiment.
Before implementation, it requires more than 4 hours.
After implementation, it only requires 3 hours.
Accuracy.
Before implementation, it has less accuracy.
After implementation, the accuracy is high.
Output.
Before implementation, the output get delayed.
After implementation, the output will be on time.
Damaging of the base table.
Before implementation, the damaging of base table is more.
After implementation, damaging of the base table is less.
The quality check procedure has been helpful, rectifying the problems and physically handling robotics lab experiments. Elimination of the problems were excellent and quite useful, and the method and methodologies followed by the team was the best to my limited knowledge and experience. Hopefully, the solution found out could solve the issues regarding the matter. I wish the team could succeed in their mission and objectives. This is the feedback from our robotics lab in charge from Mr. Sri KP.
And the advantages of automatic community stocks are
to prevent server damage,
to avoid misuse,
to save money and to save time. Step 11.
Regular implementation.
This is a regular implementation letter. Our next step is to implement our project. For that we are using PDCA. They are plan,
do,
check,
act. This is the follow-up action that is standardization process which is used and pasted in our robotics lab.
There are two types of gains. They are
tangible
and intangible. Tangible benefits are time saved.
The time required to complete one experiment for a batch is more than 4 hours. There are 10 batches with 200 trainees. So the total time required to complete all the experiments in a semester is around 1200 hours. By introducing our automatic emergency stop, we can save 300 hours in a semester.
Cost save.
The total price of server motors inside the robot is 1,91,304 rupees. Last time, when one of our robot went out of order, we called an expert from Faru Bangalore who charged us rupees 30,000 per visit, in addition of the components replaced. By including the charge for an expert, it will be 2,21,304 rupees. By using the solution automatic emergency stop, we can stop the breakdown due to collision and can save 2,21,304 rupees per robot. And the total expected cost for the two robots in our center is 4,42,600 rupees. I repeat, 4,42,600 rupees.
And the intangible benefits are
acquire more knowledge in small group activity,
communicate skill improved,
innovative skill enhanced, skills return,
presentation skill improved,
improve quality,
and to gain self-confidence. Step 2. Review and feedback. This is the sample copy of the newly filled feedback from our senior trainee, Mr. Rajit. This is the feedback analysis table.
After analyzing feedback, we understood that our project is saving time and solving.
And the suggestions are
to provide an indication when the robot is handling over payload.
Provide layout for fixing the project.
Project should be based on programmable logic control.
This is the milestone chart which shows the complete status of our QC presentation.
Our upcoming Kaizen is automatic emergency stop by using load cell.
These are the QC tools that we have used for our QC presentation.
As an acknowledgement, we heartfully thank our organization, Network Technical Trainee Foundation Territory, and also our pilot principal, Lieutenant Colonel K.V. Nair, and our vice principals, Mr. Roshan Peter and Mr. Saraswati V. We also thank the staff, colleagues who being with us to attend this portion.
We are proud to tell you that we have been able to solve the problem facing us in the robotics lab, also same like industries. We thank you all very much for giving us a very patient ear.
That's all for our QC presentation today. Thank you. Any questions and suggestions?
Very good presentation. Just tell me, somewhere you have mentioned that 5US is used. So, can you explain how 5US is used?
I didn't understand the question.
You used 5US. 5S.
5.
You have mentioned somewhere.
Good presentation and very good start. And you have started the ball rolling now. Good momentum. I would like to ask you one question. Go to slide number 77. Yeah, you use Viva analysis over here. Okay. So this last one, due to unknown load of robot, or can you explain? Can somebody explain this? How did you do this particular Viva analysis? The third column.
So by doing our operation, it is not predictable to how it is applying the load. That's why we
The unknown load of robot. So unawareness of payload. Then next wise, no device to measure the load. So earlier you said there was one sensor, no? The sensor was there earlier.
Yeah.
So you basically you change sensor to this read sensor, right?
No, actually the sensor is working and the servo motor, as the feedback said from the company, the servo motor when it hits to a base, it tries to pull to a location where it can't be moved. So it tries to attain, not attain, so overcurrent passes through a servo motors, and after that only the payload sensor gets activated, and then only the servo will get damaged. So after that, If these processes get repeated, the server will get completely damaged.
So there was no sensor earlier.
No.
So what was the last one is load due to collision.
Yeah.
So from here, how did you come to the solution part?
From this, I think here we explain that.
So load due to collision is here. We are indicating the load force. While operating in NTTF, there are certain experiments in conducting. In each experiment, we have to follow a pattern. While taking the reference point, there is a chance of collision. At that time, if you are applying a force on a dead load, it will gradually increases and it will increase about the payload of robot. It will damage servo motors. In our solution, instead we are using a spin, and here we can set the payload of the robot. In our NTTF, we are using the robot element 200IC. It has 5 kilo payload. When the robot hits the base, that time the sensor will sense the load. If it is the payload of robot, that time the sensor will sense and it will automatically break the working of robot manipulator.
Okay.
So, can I show you?
Yeah, sure.
Please come onto the stage, sir. Mr. Subhas Aksali. Please come onto the stage, sir. Mr. Suraj Ukeri. Mr. Firoz Khan. Yeah, sir. So we have 3 members. Please take a seat, sir. I request please to provide the mic. Subhas, sir. The question for today's panel discussion will be put on by my colleague, Mr. Banu. So please. Morning, sir. See, this question or the panel discussions are from the students, in fact, and we discussed with them. The question lingering in their mind is, sir, you would have seen us working in the industries. What are your suggestions, guidelines, and our scope for improvement to excel at the work area when we enter the industry? This is what is lingering in their young mind. So we would like your guidelines, suggestions, so how they could really ramp up, scale up, and be really industry ready. They are ready, of course, but they want to excel in their work, for which they are seeking your guidelines, sir. So before starting the panel discussion, I am very privileged to introduce the following panel members. First member is Mr. Subhash Aksali, sir. Mr. Subhas Aksali, a 1972-76 batch, Harvard batch, NTTF trainee, a record topper, is a veteran in injection mold design with more than 42 years of professional experience. He was leading mold design teams in Philips Pune, General Manager Tool Design and Mold Room at GIC Pune. Presently an active visiting technical consultant to a couple of companies around Pune. He has done several presentations on design and manufacturing of molds in Plasto Exhibition Pune. Automation using NX Unigraphics at Siemens India Conference, Bajaj Training, Hexagon Boro Seminar and NTTF Technical Seminars. So on behalf of NTTF families, I welcome you for this discussion, sir. Please give a round of applause. Our second panel member is Mr. Suraj Ukeri. Mr. Suraj Ukeri is an alumni of NTTF Dharwad Center,
graduated in the year 1994. Currently, he is the SPU head of SKH SMC Private Limited. SKH SMC is a part of metal division of Krishna Maruti Group, which has plants in Pune, Chennai, and the business promotion entity in Germany. Worked with companies like GSC, Fort Marshall, Bear India, and Spicer India. Started with tool and die making profile, took him through multiple roles as manufacturing engineer, head of production, head projects, supply chain head, plant head, and to the current role of business head. At SKH, the organization is associated with allied customers like Volkswagen, Audi, Bentley, and beside, SKH is a major Indian sheet metal part supplier to Volkswagen Group across Europe and Mexico. So, on behalf of NTTF family, we are privileged to have you, sir. Welcome.
NTTF flag, 1, 2, 3.
The third member of the panel is Mr. Vilas Darade, if I am pronouncing right. He is a B Mechanical from KK Engineering College, Nasik. Right. He has an experience of around 15 years, and as current designation is a supplier quality lead for Magna Cosma International Talegaon plant, and he started his career as a trainee from VIP Industries as a mold maintenance in 2004. Worked in Mahindra die shop for 6 years for skilled panels and B-class panels. Worked with General Motors for lead tooling development 6 years, B-class and underbody parts with welding assembly. So we are very happy to have you, sir. On behalf of NTTF family, welcome.
NTTF flag, 1, 2, 3.
So I request the panel members to give their viewpoints on the said question in this sequence. The first feedback will be given by Axel sir, then Kerry sir, then Sunil. Continue. Thank you.
Audible?
Yeah, audio please. Switch on the other mic.
Hello?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling me for this panel discussion. As I wrote, I would say I am glad that the panel, I have one of my colleague, Suresh Ukeri. He started his career with me. As it was a question for discipline, what you are telling as a guideline. So he would be able to enhance that question, what is it. As during our judge comment also, Mr. Yardi also was asking on the 5 years point, So I fully believe, as you know, that NTTF is wholly dedicated to disciplined approach of giving this technical knowledge on that one. To tell you my start, as I say, I started my career from NTTF. So NTTF is 4 years when I started. So the roll number starts from 1 to 1 batch for 30. Then the second batch starts from some 60 or 31 or so. Incidentally, in my batch when I took over, I stood first, and so I got the rank first. So when I went to the final, I was to face the final exam. Hello? Yeah. Now coming back to that point, when it came to final, so I stood first in entrance exam. I stood first in first year. So till third, fourth year, I stood first. So when it came to final, Mr. Salakallu was addressing the forum. He gave an open forum before we attended the exam, that getting first once in a while is easier, but retaining number 1 all throughout, it is very difficult. So we, in our group of 25 students who had to appear, we had a fight among ourselves who will win the first. So we had a table wherein there used to be about 4 people on each table. Which table will win and which among those 4 will win? The reason why I am quoting this is it comes back to the discipline of making on that one. So it is that discipline which I started right from the beginning to the end. The discipline is not only what we look, the discipline is in everything what we see. If you ask me today, when I go through the papers also, I first see how it is written. Is it readable? If it is readable, then you start reading. If it is not readable, then you don't start reading it. it is like when you go to a garden, if it is a bare with no fruits or flowers visible there, I don't think any one of us we visit the garden on that time. So from that point of view, I would say discipline plays one of the very prominent role when we enter into an organization. How we behave and how we keep our records of writing, everything is in a documentation manner on that one. So that is one point I would say it is very prominent for the new entrant in any industry.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for NTTF for inviting me. One of the key things which comes to my mind post I started with Arsali sir as a new trainee, after 4 years. Apart from discipline, what normally industry looks for is the attitude. The first thing what we saw even today in the presentation in the roping program, NTTF talks about attitude in the roping program itself. So apart from the skill which we acquired during our lifetime, we'll keep on adding our knowledge and skill as we progress. We will face hurdles, we will face failures. Like if I may start my own case, from a tooling, the career took me through multiple variety of profiles and opportunities. There were a number of failures, there are a number of challenges. How we approach, how we address, and how we learn from it will help us progress further. The other part of the career where we progress in our life is the will and the skill. The most important which is linked to the attitude is the will part of it. See, as we see in our life, the facts get clouded by opinions. When we work on a shop floor, when we work in any of the industry, the opinion of the people around us normally cloud the facts, which actually keep telling us something, a different story, which will help us in our analysis and solving the problem. And then when we cloud the facts with the opinions, the emotions take the first stage, and then it clouds the analysis part of it. So always in our career, look at the facts, look at the details, which will help us in analyzing individual situations, individual problems, as well as the work problems. And of course, the tools which we learn during our course in NTTF and during our life will help us apply these scientific tools to come to a solution which is going to give us success. Thank you.
As well as before years takes over, I have a add-on question which generally we face as a trainers, and I would like you to address on that also. The current generation, generally every generation talks of that their generation was better than the current generation. And when we talk to this trainees, some kind of trend we see that they are quick success. So is there a ready-made formula for them? There's a basic question they ask, or it has to go brick by brick, step by step. So how do you connect to this about your experience?
Again, I would like to take some my own example experience during the industrial journey. I used to work I worked, in fact, the longest tenure of my career was with a German company. So I had the advantage of working close with the people who I used to travel very often for multiple reasons, and then they used to. So we could see these youngsters who are coming out into the industry in Germany, and the difference of the youngsters whom we see here. Lot of things I at least learned during those stages. In fact, many of them younger than me, people who used to come and audit us. The amount of detailing and the amount of that will to go to the facts and details is really great. In our situation in India, which is I would call it more of an opportunistic society, as we are emerging at a very fast pace. Obviously, there is the execution or the speed part which is taking the prominence than the hardcore skill set and the experience part of it. So my answer to that would be have the perseverance, that is the patience, to look at those facts, and automatically we will be able to catch up with the rest of the world with the speed. If I may say, the think time has to increase in India, whereas we have a less think time and more of an execution time, and then we face challenges.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, Vilas, please.
Good morning, all. I started my career in 2004 as a tool and die maker, and just after 15 years today I am here. But just see the presentation you guys showed. So you guys are ready with everything like a YY, everything like a DOE. So 15 years back when we came from the college, we don't know the such things. So NTTF giving you the very good, like a good learning. When you are joining as a fresher, you have a very good learning with you, and you will compete with the 5 to 10 years experienced people. That is very best thing I seen today in your presentation. Second thing, as a fresher, 3 things should be in a mind. Like when you are going to join any organization, you should be ready for the hard working. Second, you should be come with the one vision. Like after 5 years or 10 years, where you want to see for yourself. If you come with the vision, come with the hard working, you will be go at your goal. And third thing important, you should always work with the people as a teamwork. Because you guys working in like Pune, outside Pune, Gujarat, I also work for 3 to 4 states. So if we work as a team, we will be a very good progress or good after 5 or 10 years, we will be at the good position in India and outside also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next session will be, I request.
When you was telling a quick success now, so I have one normal example. So my department was always on the first floor. So everybody who comes for solving the problem have to come climbing. And if you want to go down, there was beside me one window where if you want to go down, you do not have to climb downwards, go downwards, you can directly jump also. Now, how fast you are to acquire these one? You can either skip 2 or 3, but still I won't say no for these ones, but it is possible. But it is in your hands how fast you want to make it done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.